someone else.
Allie, can I have you do me a favor though? Can I be set over there so I can take my mask on? Because I'm gonna need to like, then we can disinfect your computer afterwards. Okay, so what I would do if I were you guys is go ahead and start a new one. And so decide if you're gonna do vertical or horizontal. So all I did is I said file new, this popped up. I want it to be in inches, not pixels. And this is actually going to be an 11 by 17 or a 17 by 11.
What are you talking?
No, or we can do it 8 by 10 because your landscape's gonna be 11 by 17. Let's keep your surrealism at 8 by 10. So deciding if you're doing a horizontal or vertical, and then make your resolution 300. Those were zeros. Background content's transparent. And I'm just gonna go ahead and name it for you, Ringsby. You can obviously delete this or whatever. Okay, so here is your background to work with, right? So I'm just gonna start bringing random pictures in. So to open a picture, I just drop it over Photoshop. And let's say I'm gonna select it. So remember, these are my selection tools. So the marquee tool is the one you've been using so far, right? So you could do any of these shapes. So I'm just gonna grab that. Command C is the shortcut. Command V to paste, and it's the same size so it fits on there, right? Okay, so let's say I wanna cut part of this out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the magnetic lasso. So any of these that have a little triangle in the corner means there's a tool underneath. So I held it down and then I grabbed this. Now what the magnetic lasso is going to do is it's going to try to guess what pixels you're trying to use. So if you guys recall, I'm going to use Command plus to get bigger. Your entire image is made out of little squares, right?
Right.
So if you go to try to cut them out, did you just call me sir?
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. Let's say I'm going to try to cut just that black part out. So I would draw along the edge, see all those little squares popping up? Those are called anchor points. So I can click and make an anchor point. So if you're doing some detail work or the thing in front looks a lot like the thing behind, the more anchor points, the more you can control it. Now obviously that's an obvious edge. Now I'm going to go up the outside edge. I'm just using 2 fingers to scroll. Oop, anchor point. Scroll, and then I'm going to come back down. Now, I can't do anything till I'm back at the beginning. So did you see that little circle just pop up right there?
Yeah.
That told me I completed the circle. Okay? So I click. Now I've got my marching ants, so that area is selected. Okay, so think of it as a stencil. Yes.
You have to click something to get the
I clicked the first anchor point again.
But do you have to like click on the
Anchor point, the first anchor point. Okay, I'm going to show you something about how magnetic lasso can go wrong. Just give me a second. So now I can either delete that section. Okay, so it's gone. I can put something else there. Command Z is my edit undo. I can use it to color or just add a filter. So let's say I just want to add a filter to that section only. That's selected.
Can we be blue, please?
please.
It's not probably going to be blue.
Oh, yeah,
because
go
it's-
on, go far. Farther. Keep going. Oh, right there. Blue. Oh. Blue.
So notice though how that only applied to that section and nothing else. So if you look over here, my window layer 1, that's what I put in, and then my hue saturation is only applied to that section. Does that make sense? I could also get my paintbrush. So these are my creation tools here. So I've got my brush, and let's say I want to do, I'll just leave it white. So I can go in, hold on, why is that not colored? Oh, it has a filter on it. It should.
What? You're ruining it! No! No!
Step backwards. Edit, step backward. One more. Okay, that did not work on that. I don't know if it's because of the hue saturation. Let's say though, I just wanted to do a circle. And then I'm gonna paint. Why is my paint tool not working? There's blue. There, do you like that color blue? Why is that not working? I'm gonna create a new layer. So right there, I create a new layer. I'm gonna put it over that. I don't know why that, there it goes. So see how it will only color within there? So that can give you guys boundaries also. You guys clearly need boundaries.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Really
Okay, does that make sense how I did that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are your creation tools here. There's your history brush. So I should be able to go in and it'll take it back to the original.
Oh, so it erases it.
Mm-hmm. So like if you put a black and white filter over the top, but then let's say that you made a face black and white and you just wanted the eyes to be color, you could just take your art history brush and erase where the eyes are and it would make like the color show through essentially.
Crazy.
Or you could just use the eraser tool. You guys can also change the size of these. Double click,
Let the boys rest.
control click. Nope. Could be.
Pop up the dogs.
Okay.
Nope. I'll take a break.
So if you come up here, this will change the size to how many pixels it is. See that? So now I can erase a little bit bigger. So depending on what you want to do. Notice too, I can also make the edges softer. You guys see that? So if you want to like have a gradation, you want it to like softly blend, then you would want your eraser to be a little bit softer, and then it wouldn't create a hard edge. You guys better not be asking me how to do this stuff later.
Well, it's gonna be on canvas, so we're good.
And then you're gonna go back and watch it.
Yeah.
So paint bucket tool, if you know you just want that whole section to be filled in one color, I just use the paint bucket tool. Did you see how I changed the colors?
Yeah.
I double clicked, it gave me all of this. You can also type them in. So if you want to make sure a color matches again, you can type in the number. If you want to look up colors on the internet and you want to match it exactly, type it in, it'll bring it up for you. The other way you can match colors exactly is to use the eyedropper tool. Somebody see it?
Hey, opera.
It's up.
Over.
Yeah.
Slide it right.
One more to the right.
Stop
Shot real smooth.
Yeah, right there.
So I can go in and I can just select like the part that I want. So see how it's like changing the color to whatever I'm selecting? See that? At least act like you want to learn something.
Normally.
Okay. All right, this is the one that you need to pay attention to. I'm going to show you how to do the clone stamp. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to delete all these layers. Do you guys know you can do that?
Whoa.
Drag it down to the mini trash can.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, I can't delete that layer because
See,
it's
we
the only
do
one.
learn stuff.
Yeah. I took away something.
Okay, if you selected something and then you don't want it, remember I said don't hit delete to delete the marquee tool, deletes what's in it. Just click, and now I don't have anything selected. Okay? Okay, so I'm gonna bring in a picture. Okay, so let's see, what do we wanna do? Let's say on Macy's eye, we wanna get rid of the reflection. We just want it to be pupil, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the clone stamp tool. You guys are gonna use this a lot on your Surrealism project, and it's kind of complicated to learn how to use, so pay attention. All right, right now this is my brush size. So remember what I told you. You can change the size of it. You can change how hard the edges of it are. You can change the shape of it. So see how these different, like you can make it textured or whatever. So let's just say I just want it to be regular old brush. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so I wanna get rid of this reflection right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna essentially soak up what's right there, right where my circle is. I'm gonna soak that up and that's gonna become my paint to paint on the other side. So I hit Alt. So see how it made that?
Okay.
It turned it into kind of like a scope. So it's going right here. So I sight in on it, I click. Okay, so now wherever I paint, it's going to be that color. So if I come over here, see what I just did? So the crosshairs are showing me where it's pulling the paint, and the circle's showing me where I'm painting. Now it's gonna move together, see that? So what's gonna happen though is it's gonna soak up whatever was under there originally. So see how it's starting to turn white? So now I need to go back and I need to go, okay, well I'm gonna just soak up right here. So I'm gonna hit Alt, click, And I'm just gonna try to like paint in what I see right next to it, so Alt click. I find you have better luck if you try to like source from close by as much as possible. And don't just get streaky or it won't work as well.
This is so weird.
I know, I'm gonna make it bigger.
Bigger is always better.
Yeah.
Are you from Texas?
No, it's just.
It's not always, a lot of times you want it
Born
to
in
be smaller so you
California.
can get more details. I'm just gonna do this to make it go
No,
faster.
that's not natural.
Okay, it does, but now remember too, if I come out, it's not as obvious, it just looks where she's no reflection. So we're gonna move up, we made her into an alien. So let's go Command plus to make it bigger. So now what I'm gonna do is soften the edges so you can take your eraser tool and then I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller and then I'm gonna have soft edges so I can, oh, no. Oh, I know why. It's not its own thing. It's on that layer. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna smooth it together. So here's my smudge tool. So essentially, think of this as like, if you were really painting and you took your finger and you kind of pushed it around, it's blending it together. So you don't want to have it be too powerful or too big or it's going to look like a swirly mess. You guys kind of see how I'm doing that?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to kind of rough up the edge and bring the different colors from the different side and blend them together. Blind carpenter.
That's a good joke.
It's alright, I'll forgive you this time.
Yeah. I will never mess
You're
with it.
probably not going to need the text tool, but it works exactly how you think it would. So focus on these. Any other tools you guys have experimented with that you have questions on? Magic wand tool will work to select stuff as well. But remember, it's not going to give you exact cutouts. It's trying to guess what you're trying to pick. So my toleration is 32, so I could bring the toleration down to like, let's say 10.
What does toleration mean?
It's like, so, okay, let's zoom in.
Is it
So
just
whatever-
you're fed up with it?
Whatever I pick, so like this is the pixel I'm picking. It's trying to guess what I want to select within that range. So the bigger the toleration, the more color variation it's going to pick. The smaller, the closer to that value it's going to pick.
Ah.
So it's trying to guess what it is that I want. See how it like stopped where the yellow is
Yeah.
on the edge, and then like where it turned kind of this purpley color, it stopped. It's not 100% sure, but now I've created a stencil.
Then you just Command C that.
I'm going to double click to unlock my background layer, and now I can delete it.
Whoa.
Or I can use it as a stencil. So most of the time, you're going to want to use your magnetic lasso, excuse me, to select stuff. You can also add to it. So let's say right here, I want to add to the selection. So I click that and it'll keep adding. So if I'm like, well, that's close to what I wanted. You see what I'm doing?
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
keep in mind though, anything that's little is not selected. So you'd have to go in and actually